Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. How's everybody doing out there in listener land? Let's see who's in the chat. We got Della Hayes, we got Shady Grin, got Lesser Logic, Timothy Sealbeck, James Colley, Old Guy Gamer. How you guys doing tonight? Hey, Cracked. Hey, Assassin. Hey, Cynic. Hey, Costin. Hey, Ginger. Hey, Pete. Hey, Monkey. How's it going, everybody? Hey, BG. Hey, fucktards. Cool. All right, well, figured out the stream. I'm doing pretty good, Monkey. How are you? I wasn't sure if you were up or not, so I figured I should do a stream because I was bored. Oop, left my external speaker on again. Hang on. Happy birthday, Evolved. You're kind of up. I know the feeling. All right, well, we got an update on the TSR case, and people are taking it way out of order. So we're gonna look at the update that was given and what some of the other tards are saying. But we're gonna wait for a little while because that's the juicy bit. And we got some other news to go over first. So let's look at the Cowboy Bebop nonsense first. It's from IGN. Cowboy Bebop canceled at Netflix after just one season. Netflix canceled its live-action Cowboy Bebop series after just one season. The first and only season premiered on November 19th. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Netflix will not pick up the anime adaptation of the sci-fi western for another season. It's not an anime adaptation, it's live-action, idiots. This despite the cliffhanger ending at the end of the season, which finally revealed a prominently missing character. Oh my god, that kid was so annoying. She was so obnoxious. I would not have watched it just based on that kid being so irritating. Premiered to mixed to negative reviews, and despite achieving almost 74 million views in its debut, following weeks saw the show's viewership decline. Netflix has been more upfront in recent years about which shows it intends to renew and which shows will be canceled. Netflix has also been more upfront about the viewership in the past year as well, which sheds light on how successful some shows on the platform are. Based on the classic anime, Cowboy Bebop starred John Chu, Mustafa Shakir, and Daniela Padilla as a trio of bounty hunters, blah, blah, blah. We all know the premise. I thought John Cho and Mustafa did really good jobs, actually. They weren't quite accurate with the anime, but you're going to have differences. You're never going to get a perfect translation. But this chick was kind of annoying. She was always sarcastic, and these pants made her look like she had a massive fupa. And she's not obviously dressed appropriate for the adaptation. The only good casting was the Corgi. Yeah, the Corgi did a great job. Yeah, Cynic, good luck finding that face. The only good a lot more shows end after only one season in comparison to being renewed. Yeah, that's especially true on Netflix, Raymond. And it's kind of surprising because some of these shows, they really don't give them a chance at all. Yeah, Pete, I'll definitely have you on to stream sometime. Probably be on the Mr. Awesome channel. I tend to do these by myself. She does have a FUPA in training. Yeah, the FUPA Foundation. She does have a FUPA Foundation going there, which is weird because she's got kind of small boobs. Usually you got bigger boobs for that. So it got canceled right away, which I'm not surprised. There were some really good actors in here. Like, she's a good actress. He was fine. You know, I'm not a fan of the originals, so I know the fans of the original series had way more complaints. Hey, Ryan. But yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it. It was just one of those things that some people had more complaints with it than I did. And some of them were justified. Like the way that chick that played what's her face was being a bitch to the fans. That was dumb. That I think hurt it more than anything else because it showed how little they respect you. Hey, Duck Dog. They can make her camel toe and fupa enhancing underwear now. It's everywhere. Probably. But then we got this. This from Bounding. The Cowboy Bebop script coordinator claims audiences are missing out on canceled season 2. Previously revealed show was inspired by a radical left-wing YouTuber. It's a bit of a misleading headline, I think. Hot on the heels of its cancellation, Naomi Markman, the script coordinator for Cowboy Bebop, recently took to Twitter to tease the audiences were missing out on the second season of the series, only to cry victim when she met with criticism from fans who, having seen the results of the unsurprisingly awful first season, expressed extreme doubt in her claim. Markman's turnabout came as part of a series of tweets made in lamentation of the abysmal live-action adaptation's cancellation. The ending was really dumb, especially with that annoying kid, which began on December 9th with her declaration, not to rub it in your faces, but as the individual who has read the Cowboy Bebop Season 2 scripts more than anyone else in this world, fuck, you're missing out. Oh, so edgy, so edgy. After facing a deluge of pushback from audiences, many of whom asked if Season 2 was so great, where was that supposed talent in Season 1? Markman asked the very same people she previously antagonized, my dear troll friends, you do realize that literally hundreds of people lost their jobs today, right? Jobs we loved and cared about. That's the industry. We're going to be emotional, she continued. Also, most of us, if not all of us, found out today with the public. That's pretty shitty. Never insult the fan base? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think she really doomed the show from the beginning. It's not about respect, it's about the message. Yeah. Well, you have to show a little bit of respect to the fan base because you don't really want to slap them too much. Never seen Cowboy Bebop. The animation on it's really dated. This new show, it could have been its own thing, but they really did shit on the fans too much. But cheers when tons of other shows are canceled. Yeah, pretty much. Flawed with too many filler episodes is superior. Yeah, I never really got into the original. It was just too stylistic for me. So yeah, I never really got into it, but I could see why people liked it. And this show, that's why I give this one a C, because I wasn't a huge fan of the original. But even this one had a lot of stuff that, especially the ending, really didn't make any sense. It was pretty lazily strung together. They were trying too much to subvert expectations. Yeah, exactly, Monkey. Not happy everyone got fired, but I understand what happened. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Well, it's a victimology mentality. That's what everybody's coming out with these days is I'm a victim and you can't attack me because I'm a victim. And that's what she did. She ran behind she ran to hide behind her victim card. She further attempted to deflect just because you don't like the food at a restaurant doesn't mean you would celebrate when it closes down. You wouldn't mock the waiter, the chefs. I beg you to touch some grass and give someone you love a hug. This touch grass thing's really getting old fast. It's really stupid. Also, yeah, there are restaurants I'll celebrate getting shut down, usually by the health department. Yeah, got no problem with that. And there's chefs and waiters that I don't care about. You know why? Because I don't know them, or they're shit at their job. Maybe if you're shit at your job, you get fired. However, to address Markman's own metaphor, if a restaurant promised to cook a customer a steak dinner in a way of the world's finest culinary experts, then proceed to instead serve a day-old hamburger patty covered in ketchup and insist that the customer was a bad person for not finding it just as good, if not better than the steak, said customer would likely and rightly criticize the restaurant and warn others not to dine there, especially if the waiters and chefs showed nothing but disdain for both the customers and the food itself. That's a great analogy. My entire life turned upside down less than 12 hours ago, along with hundreds of my dearest peers. I doubt she knows the key grip's name. Consider having a goddamn ounce of compassion or empathy. Go fuck yourself. You sound like a bitch. Of course, Markman's seeming inability to recognize why Cowboy Bebop was near universally rejected by everyone comes as no surprise given how previously she revealed that a scene involving her disingenuously gender-swapped version of Gren, as played by non-binary actor Mason Alexander Park, was inspired by a commentary video made by trans woman and popular far-left YouTube commentator Natalie ContraPoints Wynn. According to the script coordinator, a scene in which Gren cringe-inducingly addresses guests in his jazz club, shonen, shoujo, and all you dirty, dirty folk in between, was a direct homage to a moment in one of Wynn's videos, What's Wrong with Capitalism Part 2, 16-minute mark, in which the commentator jokes, glamour is very important to us. The L's, the G's, the B's, the T's, and all those filthy, filthy Q's. Okay, so you're upset you lost your job. Well, why don't you go redistribute your skills somewhere? How's that? Fucking bread tubers. This is why you don't have a job anymore. All right, that's funny. I didn't see that when I first read the article. So yeah, they wanted to pay homage to ContraPoints, I guess. That's fucking dumb. There's a reason this show got canceled. It wasn't that good. I think it'll find a following in like 10 years by people that have never seen the original. No, ContraPoints wasn't in it. She inspired the character. Hey, Sir Adamantine. Only people that should have been fired are the ones who wrote the script. I think there's a lot of blame to go around. The lady that played Faye bears a lot of this responsibility on it because she's the one that really kicked off the hate storm for this. And I think a lot more people would have been a little bit more kind in their assessment of it if she hadn't been such a bitch about the whole thing and then doubled down. And it's pretty obvious they didn't have a very big love of the original. I think that was obvious from the start. I can't say that, Brent, because I would actually get in trouble for that. Yeah, hate facts. There's a lot of hate facts going on. Speaking of which, you guys all know the chat rules. No felonies in chat. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep an eye on shenanigans. And yeah, if you feel generous, toss me some cash at the Streamlabs link pinned at the top of your chat or in the description. It's a feminine penis, Brent. Totally feminine penis, YouTube. Let's go over to ICV2. Lunar Distribution adds CEX Publishing. Another one jumps ship over to Lunar. CEX Publishing is signed with Lunar Distribution. The contract begins with books that ship in January 2022. And CEX titles are now available to order on the Lunar website. Lunar Distribution has quickly established themselves as having a reputation for quality service, quick and accurate shipping, as well as having some of the lowest prices available to the direct market, said CEX publisher Andy Schmidt in the announcement. We are thrilled to partner with them, building on our mission of bringing high-quality creator-owned books to retailers and readers alike. I can't think of a single book I've ever read from this company. The CEX newest series, Past the Last Mountains, is currently available for order on the Lunar website and will launch in February. This series, co-created by G.I. Joe and Power Rangers writer Paul Allar. I don't know who that is either. Silver Ledger Award-winning Louis Joyce and Space Corps. Oh, I picked up Space Corps issue 1. It's in the stack. So I have heard of them, I guess. It's Comic Experience or some shit like that. Yeah, I couldn't have picked them out of a lineup. Yeah. I don't care about their new book at all. So this is the third Lunar has also added 3 other small independent publishers to its roster. In September, the distributor inked deals with Floating World Comics, never heard of them, which grew out of the bookstore of the same name in Portland, Oregon. Oh, great. Silver Sprocket, never heard of them. Publisher of Your Black Friend, as well as Free Comic Book Day, Comic Fun Girl, Tales of a Grown Up Nothing. Wow, that sounds delightful. And the Minneapolis-based Uncivilized Books. I've never heard of them either. Oh, they do ginseng. I don't care about any of these people. And they do have Oni Lionforge, which is borderline dead anyway. So I don't understand why this is a huge deal. This company is really tiny. They've got one book that I ordered that I've actually heard of. But seriously, I had no idea who the publisher was on that. So a lot of people seem to be jumping ship from Diamond. And that doesn't bode well for the direct market for those people that are still with Diamond. Yeah, it totally is woke, James. It's really a crime if I don't get caught. I don't know. That's a tree falls in the woods sort of thing. That's up to your moral compass. Turned a character that gained breasts when the government used them for experimental drugs into a bad ContraPoints knockoff. Yep. Well, wait till the remake of Fight Club when the dude with the bitch tits becomes a strong, independent trans person or some nonsense. His name is Robert Paulson because in death we have a name. So that's a thing that's going on. This doesn't bode well for Diamond. I think a lot of people are jumping ship because Diamond's quality has been lacking for some time. And a lot of people just seem to be sick of the shit. And largely that's due to the shutdown from the pandemic where a lot of people didn't get paid. Because they just shut down completely and said, well, we're not processing any money going out. We're not taking any new books going in. And they did that for way too long, and that hurt comic shops. That hurt comic professionals because the companies couldn't get paid. They couldn't pay their staff. Just showing Diamond slowly bleeding out. Yeah, I think it is. Steve Geppi, he seems to know how to make money. But he's not really running Diamond anymore from what I hear. So I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. But he's branching out into like NFTs and stuff like that. And he still has Gemstone Publishing. He could be doing like picking up dead books from independents from a long time ago and reprinting them or something. But who knows? I don't know what they're doing over there. But they are really not doing anything to staunch the bleeding. So the direct market is going to be boned here shortly. Hey, Cirque, how you doing, man? So there's going to be Lunar and probably Penguin Random House, and that's going to be about it. All right, now let's get to some bad news. They're rebooting Firefly. It's from MovieWeb. Here's what you can expect from the Firefly reboot from Disney Plus. So, she's going to be the leader. He's going to be black and he'll be trans. And they'll have a wacky, jokey thing that goes on all the time, and everybody will crack jokes every 5 minutes because that's how things are done. Firefly was canceled too soon. Released in 2002, the series took place in the year 2517. Classified as a space western drama, the series saw the ensemble cast traveling to the spaceship Serenity in search of new adventures. It was undoubtedly a popular series, garnering up to 4.7 million views per episode. Astonishingly, however, Firefly was canceled before it finished its first season. Only 11 of the 14 planned episodes were released, leaving the dedicated fans of the show devastated. Petitions, fundraisers, online forums were created in an attempt to save the show from being canceled forever, but these efforts were ultimately in vain. Yes, that was 20 years ago. And people are still trying to get it back. However, Disney plans to reboot the series as an exclusive for its streaming platform, Disney Plus. Disney has acquired the rights to the franchise after their 2018 acquisition of Fox. Firefly seems like the perfect option to diversify their current lineup for streaming. Here's what to expect from the reboot. It'll have a new story and probably new cast. The original Firefly series on Fox was intended for mature audiences. Umura, for example, is explicitly known to be a courtesan on the show. There are also political, social, and economic factors that integrate the morals and ethics of the character's world and society. Oh, they're going to fight Orange Man bad. I bet money on it. Disney has not confirmed anything about the plot, but there is speculation on how the story will differ. Some routes include picking up right where the series left off and delving into the past of Malcolm Reynolds, who fought in the Civil War against the Alliance. However, it's more likely that Disney will restart the entire series on a more family-friendly note. Shocker. While Disney achieved a new first in Eternals by featuring the first openly gay character and the first real sex scene, yeah, it got all broke back, I guess. It's unlikely that Firefly will do the same. Yeah, right. Instead, they will opt for a narrative that would appeal to a more general audience on a streaming platform. Joss Whedon will not be involved. That's probably good considering he seems to have a bit of a reputation. Since Firefly has his vision and dream, many wondered whether or not Joss Whedon would return for the reboot. While Whedon isn't a stranger to creating television properties, blah, blah, blah. It seems the allegations of workplace harassment against him might be the reason he won't be returning. I don't know. They rehired James Gunn. And Bryan Singer did the X-Men movies. He's had all sorts of drama surrounding him. Indeed, Warner Media conducted an investigation resulting in swift action from the studio. Whedon then exited the HBO Max series The Nevers, and it's safe to assume that producers, especially Disney, are cautious about working with him. More details are coming, of course. So we'll have to wait and see, but I think they're going to make this woke as fuck, and it's going to be stupid. Anybody want to take bets on whether Kathleen Kennedy gets her hands on this one? Leave Firefly alone. Good luck with that, Remy. Nope, not happening. Not in my reality. Yeah. They will turn the weapon girl into a little lesbian kid. Yeah, probably. Yeah. And the doctor will be like, he will respect people's pronouns and some other goofy bullshit. Whedon show that not even last one season. Yeah, it could have lasted. I think the budget was too high, which is sad because they really had kind of a shit budget. I did like the guy that played Jane, Adam Baldwin, I think his name is. He's really good. And that episode, Janestown, was probably the best episode of the series. People, hopefully, Carmen Pasha was right about money people are trying to take over Disney right now. Might not be told dog shit. Yeah, I hope you're right, BG, but I don't have a lot of faith in Disney at this point. I don't think they're going to do anything of the sort. I think they care more about looking good than anything else. But I do hope you're right. But I just don't have that much faith in them. Not after all the crap they've pulled over the last 10 years. They don't give a crap about us. They care about their money and that's it. Ron Glass is dead. The show needs to stay that way too. Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. All right, let's talk about one of my least favorite topics, and that's fake Spider-Man. This one comes from Bounding. Marvel uses Miles Morales' Spider-Man and Anya Corazon Spider-Girl to promote the use of Latinx. The Latinx. Despite the fact that only 3% of Hispanics use the term to self-identify themselves, and even more consider it to be the equivalent of a racial slur, Marvel's latest issue of their Diversity Celebrating Voices series features a story in which the Miles Morales incarnation of fake Spider-Man and the Anya Corazon version of Spider-Girl attempt to justify the use and existence of Latinx to the reader. Written by Julio Anta, I don't know who that is, with art by some shitty artist, inks by Oren Jr., colors by Federico Blee, and aptly titled Latinx and Proud. The story begins with the Hispanic spider heroes Miles and Anya rescuing a woman from a mugger, and she was headed down to an immigrants rights rally at City Hall. Can we get any more on the nose with this stuff? Like, subtlety is just such a lost art. I mean, they're not even trying. Helping the woman pick up her protest signs, Miles and Anya then agree to attend the rally, swinging off to Miles' Brooklyn home to create their own set of protest materials. Are these signs yours? Oh, yes, thank you so much. I was headed to an immigrants' rights rally at City Hall before I ran into this Macarito. It's Spanglish. That's what everybody wants to hear. A rally, huh? What do you say, Spider-Girl? You down for midday demonstration? I thought you'd never ask. Oh, God, this is written like a chick tract, and not just because of the dialogue. She's wearing one of the stupid pussy hats, too. God, this is pathetic. These voices books always end up in the dollar bin, and they sit there. And I actually saw one of the comic shop guys take a fistful of them and just chuck them in the trash because they don't sell. Wait, redhead Latinx? Yeah. It does sound like a slur. Well, think about it this way. Terry made a really good point on one of the streams. If you tried that with Chinese, well, take China and add inks and see what you get. Miles Latino, I thought he was black. He's half Puerto Rican and half African American. Australians. Australian X. It's like Generation X, but cooler. Legal aliens do not have American rights. Well, they're not American citizens. So why they're rallying, I don't know. Like, that's perfect opportunity for ICE to go arrest them. Is immigrants very offensive that they think we're all Hispanic? Yep. Yep, it is. Sounds like a Mexican tissue. New Latinx. Soft on your nose, now with aloe. Oh, man. It does sound like that, doesn't it? Although I like my idea that they're the Mexican X-Men. And they're all in, like, Arizona. Because they all have mutant powers, so they ran over the border. Shortly after their arrival, Miles' mom, Rio Morales, returns home from the grocery store, only to find herself puzzled by the use of Latinx on one of their signs. This leads her to ask Anya, "What does this mean, Latinx? I've never heard this term thrown. I've heard this term thrown around a lot lately, but I've never had the opportunity to really ask about it." See, she doesn't even know what it is, and she'd be what, like 40 something? Oh, Latinx is just a more inclusive way to refer to people rather than Latino or Latina, responds Spider-Girl, prompting Rio to push back. Inclusive, huh? What's wrong with Latino and Latina? Weren't those working just fine until now? Yes, preach it, Rio. Well, the thing about Latinx is that it's an all-encompassing term. It doesn't assume anyone's gender the way Spanish usually does. Whoa! Talk about just straight up admitting you're colonizing a language. Good job. Good job, English speaker. God, look at that shit art. What is with this neck? That tiny mouth. God, that's trash. And this is even worse. God, if you saw this person, you'd be horrified. And this person looks like they got like caved in the head with something. Oh my God, that's horrible. Latina may be working just fine for people like us who identify as female, but for those who are gender non-conforming or identify as non-binary or gender fluid, The forced gendering of Latino and Latina can be real tricky to deal with. Yeah, we call those people pussies and they need to suck it up and stop being babies. Because if you actually speak Spanish and you're from like Honduras, your life probably sucked bad enough that's the least of your fucking problems. Pressed by his mother as to whether or not it was a little late to be changing the rules of a language, Miles proceeded to chime in. I don't think anyone is saying you have to start saying Latinx, Mom, but we all know that language can be messy, right? Um, Shut up. So maybe language should be adapted when it muddies up something as important as someone's personal identity. God, what a bunch of narcissists. Following his mother's subsequent comparison of the Latinx use, how some individuals prefer Latino over Hispanic and vice versa, Miles End concludes, I think it's just about figuring out what works best for you and respecting what works best for other people. Like changes to an entire culture's language. Smart move. Yeah, only millions of people speak that language. Yeah, fuck all of them. I do what's best for me, and everybody has to adapt to that. Fuck off. However, this still confuses Rio. Then asks Anya one more question. Does Latinx even translate to Spanish? Because I think that's probably a pretty important part of all this, right? God, look how arrogant they're drawn. Well, poorly drawn. In a telling condemnation of the fact that the term Latinx is, to put it lightly, nonsensical, Anya replies by offering up the argument, of course, the term was actually developed by the LGBTQ plus people in Latin America, so it definitely translates. All of which gives the reader no actual explanation as to how the term translates, but instead asks them to just take their argument supporting claim as an accepted fact. Yeah, that tells me nothing. Latin is another inclusive alternative that's been gaining steam lately, though Latinx is still the most accepted term at the moment. By who? Bunch of weirdo progressives? It's Anya giving readers a glimpse at the never ending spiral of the ever changing rules of acceptable language that inevitably follow when one accedes to social media based demands for surface level inclusivity. But you ultimately should just use whatever term feels more comfortable for you and those around you. It's not a huge deal. Okay, my new term is pussy. You're a pussy. Do you think somebody growing up in the backwoods of fucking Chile in the jungles gives a shit about the word Latinx or has ever heard it? No. They're going to look at you like you're fucking Looney Tunes. And then they're going to dodge a cougar or something. After thanking Anya for her nonsensical explanation, the three head to the aforementioned immigrant rally, where the story ends on a panel of the protest led by Anya bearing a sign that says Latinx and Proud, being covered by a news reporter who announces thousands of Latinx families and their allies have come together to make their voices heard. Their demand? Dignity. Oh gosh, that is so pressing. Oh, that's so real, man. What is this meant to achieve other than feel good nonsense? Little back pat to the creators of their shitty art and their lazily written story. It is just like a chick track. How do you say Latinx in Spanish? Oh, there's two different words you can use: Latino and Latina. If you're being gender neutral, the correct term is Latino. White people need to stop this stuff. Yeah, this is an insult to the Spanish language because the language is gendered. And I don't think people that actually speak the language want a bunch of middle class white kids coming in telling them how to use their own language. It's fucking rude. The struggle is real. If he was really Mexican, he wouldn't have said that with an arm's reach of a flip flop or throwing distance. Yeah, I think he's half Puerto Rican. So she probably would have slapped the shit out of him. What the actual fuck is this comic? It's a Marvel Voices book. They put out these one shots called Marvel Voices where they focus on a specific group. They did all black characters in one. They did gay characters in another one. And this one's the Latinx one. Becky from Berkeley told me so. Yeah, you get a lot of those. All right, let's do some sad news. Sadder news. Stuff I actually care about. Michael Nesmith, Monkees singer-songwriter, dead at 78. He's known for his iconic hats. So he died. Pop visionary who penned many of the group's most enduring songs before laying the groundwork for country rock with the first national band in the early 70s. Died Friday from natural causes. He was 78. That means they'll get classified as a COVID death. With the infinite love, we announce that Michael Nesmith has passed away this morning in his home, surrounded by family, peacefully and of natural causes, his family said in a statement. We ask that you respect our privacy at this time, and we thank you for the love and light that all of you have shown us, to him and us. He wrote, Mary, Mary, Circle Sky, listened to the band, The Girl I Knew Somewhere, but he raged behind the scenes that the group didn't have the creative control of their albums, and in 1967 led the successful rebellion against the record producer Don Kirshner. The group would subsequently release Headquarters and other albums they created largely on their own. Yeah, as I recall, the story was that they used to go get high in this one little shack area, so they all went and hid there until they got their way. Nesmith explained that he was adamant that the Monkees write and record their own material despite the huge success they were enjoying at the time. We were kids with our own taste in music and were happier performing songs we liked and or wrote than songs that were handed to us. It made for a better performance. It was more fun. That this became a bone of contention seems strange to me, and I think to some extent to each of us sort of, what's the big deal? Why won't you let us play the songs we are singing? Before he even joined the Monkees, Nesmith wrote a breakup song called Different Drum. The Monkees producer said to him, that's not a Monkees song. Michael said, wait a minute, I'm one of the Monkees. He gave it to Linda Ronstadt, and the rest is history. When the Monkees dissolved in the late 60s, he formed the first national band, and despite recording 3 classic country rock albums, escaping the shadow of the Monkees proved nearly impossible. The group broke up shortly before the Eagles hit it big with Take It Easy. I was heartbroken beyond speech. I didn't even utter the words of the Eagles, and I loved Hotel California, and I love the Eagles. The Flying Burrito Brothers and the Byrds, Sweetheart of the Rodeo, all that stuff. That was right in my wheelhouse, and I was agonized. Van Gogh agonized not to compare myself to him, but I wanted to cut something off because I was like, why is this happening? The Eagles have the biggest selling album of all time, and mine is sitting in a closet of a closed record company. Yeah, that sucks. He also did a solo album. Yeah, he was very influential. So, yep, lost to the music industry there. This is just a hugger mice. Yeah. Well, he's got a bigger head if that's what you talk about, Monkey. God, that's terrifying. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to get that out of my head. Thanks. Jump for flying cookware. She's an ally, don't you know? Where's Kilometers Moral's father? He became a villain for a while. But yeah, I don't know. He's not in the house. I mean, I'm not making that joke. That's awful. Did you report that Trevor Moore died? So many people died now. The best monkey died. I didn't look at Trevor Moore's obit. Sorry. So Peter Tork and Mickey. No, it's just Mickey Dolenz. Peter Tork died a long time ago. It's just Mickey Dolenz. So he won't take it easy? No, he's dead. He's not taking anything anywhere. All right. I had some other sad news crap. Where is it? Yep. All right. This one comes from the Associated Press. Japan's Nintendo console pioneer Umura dies at 78. Masayuki Uemura, a Japanese home computer game pioneer whose Nintendo console sold millions of units worldwide, has died according to the university in Kyoto where he taught. He was 78. Umura, the lead architect behind Nintendo company's trailblazing home game consoles, died Monday. Ritsumeikan University said in a statement the cause of death was not released. Yeah, he was old. How's that? Born in Tokyo in 1943. Oh, maybe the radiation got him. Umura studied electronic engineering at the Chiba Institute of Technology, where they're little teachers, and joined Nintendo in 1971. Umura was tasked by then President Hiroshi Yamauchi in 1981 with developing a home console for games like Donkey Kong, which was a huge hit in the United States at the time, but only available for arcade use. The so-called Famicom game system hit the Japanese market in 1983 as Nintendo's first cartridge-based system, allowing users to play popular games that came in cassette formats. The upgraded Super Famicom was released in Japan in 1990. The Nintendo Entertainment System, as it was known, hit the United States in 1985 and would eventually become a global sensation with more than 60 million units sold worldwide, bringing international recognition to a company that previously made traditional Japanese card games, other playing cards, and toys. Yeah, that's a major switch, isn't it? I've seen a couple of these around before, and they are ugly as fuck. They look so 70s, mid 80s. So yeah, it really blended with the time. But after retiring from Nintendo, Umura taught game studies starting in 2004 at that university I can't pronounce, in the ancient Japanese capital city, which is also home to Nintendo. We offer our heartfelt appreciation for Mr. Uemura's huge contribution to the development of the game industry by introducing a variety of video game consoles, including family computers. That university said in a statement, may he rest in peace. Yeah, absolutely. That's fucking awful. Get big time game pioneer. So, yeah, if you guys like video games, or especially Nintendo, you owe that dude a little bit of a pile of hell money that you can burn in effigy for him. I'm not going to start over. No, Merle. Sorry. Yeah, Take It Easy was written by the Eagles. He was referencing it. He didn't say he wrote it. Did he get the whack? No, I don't think he had any dirt on the Clintons. He didn't commit seppuku. No. He was an honorable man. He just died because he's old. Probably a ninja assassin got him. Hey, Kyle, how you doing, man? Hey, Peter. I don't know if I saw you earlier, Peter. People are sneaking in on me. All right. Oh, yep. We got some more sad news. We got all the sad shit out of the way early on. Daily Mail's reporting Nick Cannon breaks down in tears as he reveals his 5-month-old son, Zen, has died from a brain tumor that developed quickly over Thanksgiving. Spent final weekend with him and baby mom, Alyssa Scott, on California Beach. This is fucking horrible. Died from a brain tumor. He made the announcement on the Nick Cannon Show Tuesday morning, telling the audience that his 5-month-old son passed away after previously suffering from hydrocephalus, in which fluid builds up in the cavities of the brain and increases the size of the ventricles, putting pressure on the brain. Cannon, 41, said the tumor developed quickly around Thanksgiving, and then he broke down in tears on his show. He told how he spent this past weekend in California to share the last moments with Zen. The actor said he took his son on a trip to the beach on Sunday and held Zen for the last time. His son died soon after. Zen was Nick's 7th child, delivered in June by former Flame Alyssa Scott, 28. He was the 4th of Nick's children born within the past year and a half. Oh my God, stop banging people. With twins Zillion and Zion born in June, and his daughter Powerful born last December. Somebody keep this man from naming people, okay? These kids have to grow up with these names. Your name is Zillion and your brother's name is Zion. You got a sister named Powerful. What kind of weird sentence are you forming here, Nick? Knock it off. The 7 children are with 4 different women, including his ex-wife, Mariah Carey. Oh, gross. Ex-girlfriend, Brittany Bell. His current partner, Abby De La Rosa. And Scott, a model who appeared in one of Nick Cannon's music videos. Holy fucking shit. Learned how condoms work, dude. Look at this horrible, sad picture. This is like, God, that's depressing. I mean, they're obviously distraught, but why even take a picture of this? This one's a little less depressing. That's a much better picture. Yeah, so little kid died. I don't like Nick Cannon. I think he's a fucking idiot. But this is tragic, and I feel bad for him. Hey, Camel. Yeah, wrong type of brain tumor. It kills you within months. That sucks. Yeah, it's a horrible way to go. Well, you're not wrong, Random. To be fair, yeah. Why the fuck do you share that pic? Because celebrities are fucking weirdos. Yeah, it's tragedy. It really is. That poor little kid didn't do anything to anyone. It's bad enough that those were the parents. All right. Let's kick this up a little bit here and talk something a little less tragic and horrifying. All right, this one comes from Bounding into Comics. Steven Spielberg explains why he didn't use English subtitles in West Side Story because it would give the English power over the Spanish. Yes, you can colonize through subtitles and translations. Closed captioning? Fuck you, you colonist. You old people that can't hear the TV or don't know what's going on. Fuck you. You don't get to learn the English. You better get a dictionary to watch this on HBO Max. Director Steven Spielberg recently explained why he chose not to use English subtitles for Spanish-speaking parts in his new adaptation of West Side Story. Spielberg's explanation came when he spoke to IGN in a promotional interview for the movie. I didn't want to subtitle any of the Spanish out of respect for the inclusivity of our intentions to hire a totally Latino Latinx cast to play the Shark Boys and Girls, he explained. Really? A patriarchal society like the Spanish are going to have Shark Girls? And they're going to go with the word Latinx? Sure. Let's go with that. Whatever, old man. Spielberg continued, that was a mandate that I put down to Cindy Tolan, who cast the movie, that I'm not going to entertain any auditions of anybody who isn't parents or grandparents or themselves from Latinx countries, especially Puerto Rico. Is there a Latinx country? Anybody know of one? Because I don't know of one. I don't know of any Latinx countries. So that does sound discriminatory too, by the way. Because what if they're not from a Latinx country and just from a Spanish one? We have 20 performers in our film from Puerto Rico, and they are, I don't know what that word is, Nero-Ricans, and that was very important, and that goes hand in hand with not subtitling the Spanish. So you did it to be a political hack. He then declared if I subtitled the Spanish, I'd simply be doubling down on the English and giving the English power over the Spanish. Spanish-American War. And this was not going to happen on the film. I need to respect the language enough not to subtitle it. Well, you don't respect it enough not to use the word Latinx because I haven't seen anybody really like that word. America's Latinx. Viva Latinxia. Latinx countries gave us the Twinks. Oh, I think they gave us Twix. Didn't care before, don't care now. West Side Story's Broadway theater kid bait. Yeah, you really just put that on to kind of see if somebody's the gay. Latinxistan? Oh, I did not know that. Well, it's Steven Spielberg. I don't know why he's acting this way, Peter. Maybe he is going senile. He's so old he doesn't need to justify anything he's doing. Not only does the film not feature English subtitles for the Spanish-speaking portions of the film, but the film's screenwriter, Tony Kushner, also revealed a number of changes this new version makes. He told The Hollywood Reporter, "There are things in the new screenplay that are true to what Arthur wrote, or actually lines that Arthur wrote, and then there's an enormous amount that's different. We changed it, made it better. That's what we did. We improved on it. I was sort of surprised to find there were a lot of room for expanding certain aspects of the characters, changing certain things like Tony's backstory, Maria's backstory for that matter, Bernardo's backstory, riffs, he revealed. So let's just change everything. Fuck it." Kersher went on to detail that they replaced Doc with his widow, played by Rita Moreno. "We changed one major character, my husband's idea. I told him I was going to do West Side Story. He said, 'What are you going to do about Doc?' Ned Glass is a wonderful actor, but he always found the Doc character in the movie a little Borscht Belt. So he said, 'I have a great idea. Change Doc into a Puerto Rican woman and offer the part to Rita Moreno,' he relayed. Yeah, because that's West Side Story. We just change everybody's backgrounds, change the doctor to a Puerto Rican woman for some apparent reason. He then added, so I added this new character who was the widow of Doc, but who was Puerto Rican. And we were offered to Rita, the first person we offered the part to, because I met her several times before I started working on the movie, and I revere her. That's weird and kind of creepy and stalkerish. He then went on to reveal that there's a third party to the gang war between the Jets and the Sharks. This is a totally different movie. Look, I had to watch West Side Story from various girlfriends and nonsense over the years, and this is a totally different thing. You just made a totally different product. And really wasn't West Side Story just Romeo and Juliet anyway. Wanted to try and set up a slightly different premise that this territory that's being fought over is actually being taken away by a third party, the Trumpians, by the Committee for Slum Clearance Using Eminent Domain. Oh, nailed it. Yeah, so it's basically the man. Yeah, nice. Yeah, they're fighting gentrification. They're going to team up to fight gentrification. He also revealed changes to the songs. Then I took the permission that I was given very generous rights holders and by Soderheim himself to think about some of the songs slightly differently and who sings them. But I can't give away scenes. They just changed the whole fucking movie. So if you want to see the new West Side Story, it might as well be called West Side Story 2, We Pooped All Over You, because it sounds like it's a totally different fucking movie. Yeah, I'm not watching a movie. I don't know what the hell they're saying. They might be worshiping Satan or something. Yeah, it was a knock on Romeo and Juliet. That's what I thought. So yeah, they just changed this into some total other stuff. Everybody in Hollywood's gone fucking full on retard. All right, and other celebrity stupid shit. From the Daily Mail, Jana Dugger, 31, has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child and has taken a plea deal. Revelation comes one day after brother Josh is found guilty of bad child photos charges. Jana Dugger, one of the cuter ones, but not as hot as the one whose name I forget. They all have like J names anyway. Jana Dugger has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child in Arkansas. Isn't that just everybody in Arkansas? News that comes just one day after brother Josh was found guilty of no charges. The reality TV star from 19 Kids and Counting, or as I like to call it, Dysfunctional Family, 31, has been charged with a misdemeanor at Elm Springs District Clerk, confirmed to Daily Mail on Friday. The local county clerk said Dugger was cited on September 9th, but she wasn't at liberty to say if the charge was connected to Josh. I doubt it. Jana's entered a plea deal and is expected to appear in Washington County District Court on January 10th. The clerk said the 31-year-old has no children of her own and is the eldest unmarried Dugger child. If convicted, she could face 30 to 90 days in jail, behind bars, or fines. The news comes one day after brother Josh, 33, was found guilty of downloading a vile trove of the worst bad stuff. He's been charged with 2 counts of downloading and possessing that stuff and faces up to 20 years in prison, where he should have been a long time ago. Remember, he was accused of touching his sisters inappropriately. and that was kind of covered up by the family. He went to counseling and shit like that. Jana was spotted attending her brother's trial in Fayetteville, Arkansas on Tuesday. She appeared in high spirits, laughing and mingling with family during breaks, including Josh, the Sun reported. Jane is the second child and first daughter of Jim and Michelle Dugger. The 31-year-old still lives with her parents and many of her younger siblings. That's weird. You're 31, you still live at home? Come on, you're not ugly. Get on with it. The family still lives on the compound. Yeah, that sounds appropriate terminology. Where Counting On was filmed for 11 seasons starting in 2015. Disgraced reality TV star Josh Duggar faces decades in prison after... They just stop repeating things. He got found guilty, and yeah, he's probably going away for a long time. So yeah, that show was stupid, but they made a fucking killing off it. I'm gonna drop this in chat because there's more information here on his nonsense. Oh, he admitted to it, but he never went to court or anything for it. They kind of covered it up. Is Footloose a musical? I don't know. I'd say it's more like really homosexual ballet. Sorry, Monkey. I know you love Footloose, but the movie's terrible. All right, let's laugh at Blizzard for a little bit here. Because it's getting worse for them. Those fucking idiots. All right. Hey, Jim. Activision Blizzard employees alleged discrimination against new mothers claim pumped milk was stolen by male coworkers. This just keeps getting weirder. Like, what is going on over there? I really don't get it. In one of the more bizarre accusations to be leveled against Activision Blizzard amidst their ongoing employee harassment and misconduct controversy, one current and one former female employee have alleged that not only did the company discriminate against women who were breastfeeding, but that some male coworkers outright stole the mother's pumped breast milk without facing repercussions. That's fucking weird. You're about half a step away from like stalking at that point, or probably being a no toucher. That's fucking degenerate, man. Gross. I don't want to drink some stranger's bodily fluids unless I'm banging them. Then maybe. I don't know. The first such claim is of Activision Blizzard fostering an anti-breastfeeding environment was made on December 8th by current Blizzard cybersecurity analyst Stephanie Lyons speaking to fellow employees in an apparent women's-only company Slack channel. That's a hell of a sentence. Who sought to detail some of the issues that she had encountered regarding the video game developers' accommodations for new mothers. Dear God. At least it's not a male employee who thinks he can lactate, like we saw in that one video that I'll never be able to forget, unfortunately. According to Lyon, as seen in screenshots of the Slack chat shared to Twitter by Blizzard's senior test analyst and organizer for the informal ABK workers, such issues included improper seating, which led to mothers sitting on the floor to pump. That's rude. A lack of storage space for moms to keep their pumps safe. You have a desk. And an apparent lack of sanitation from housekeeping, who did not appear to be cleaning those rooms consistently the way the rest of the office was. Nobody wants to go in and touch your weird juices, okay? I don't have any kids, so I don't know how any of this shit works. I just assume they're milking them like they do with the cows and squeeze them and they spray everywhere. I don't know. So let's read this. If you wanted a prime example of discrimination at ABK, this is it. This kind of negligence toward breastfeeding workers is criminal anywhere else. Oh, excuse me, I gotta sneeze. I don't know. I remember that Office episode where people were doing like crying noises near Pam so her boobs would leak. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I don't know. And you could just squeeze them really hard and shit just sprays out into a bucket. And I don't really believe these chicks either, Monkey, but this always makes for hilarious entertainment. So here we are. But it happened daily at Blizzard. Accommodating shouldn't be an afterthought. We can and should do better by our workers. Yeah, fuck off. You're lucky you have a job at this point. I'm hoping that a number of items was fixed when I brought this up a few years ago. Everyone who was involved has since left, and the last I reported something, it appears consistently people drop the ball in maintaining these things. Like grammar and sentence structure. Some of the issues that encountered. Is English your first or fifth language? Number one, the chairs would rock backwards and could not be locked in position to properly position oneself to pump. Many mothers were sitting on the floor to pump. Well, it sounds like there were chairs available, so that's bullshit. You don't have to sit on the floor. Get a folding chair out of the conference room. Everybody's got folding chairs floating around the office. The tables were made of wood, were porous and textured, so even though they were cleaned, breast milk built up and caked up on the table, discoloring and leaving trapped milk on the table. Why don't you clean up after yourself then? The outlet situation was a fire hazard. There were only 2 plugs per room, one plug being used by a lamp with a USB jack for phones, and another outlet for the pump, no outlet for laptops or extra table space to place a laptop for pumping moms wanted to work or watch a show while pumping, so extension cords were being used. Fuck off! That's a stupid complaint. Insufficient storage space. There were no locked cubbies for mom to keep their pumps safe. You have a desk. However, Lion's most shocking claim came in the discussion of Blizzard's supposed inability to provide refrigerator storage for mothers who pump their milk. Okay, just get a mini fridge for them. She alleged that's like $150, by the way. She alleged that not only did lackluster security measures allow any employee to access the refrigerator, in case they needed to nip in and get a little drinky drink, which some used to store beer, but that the reason were locks on them in the first place is that nursing people's breast milk would be stolen. Nursing people? You mean women? Or mothers? All right, insufficient storage space. Many had to lug them across campus multiple times a day as they didn't want to leave them behind. And at the time, women were uncomfortable using B13s. Refrigerators had padlocks that were not consistently locked or could be accessed by other employees. Employees that were using the fridges to store their beer in. But the reasons there were locks on them in the first place is that nursing people's breast milk would be stolen. No one was keeping up sanitation standards. It did not appear that housekeeping was cleaning those rooms consistently the way the rest of the office was. Maybe they didn't have the proper PPE to do that because it is considered a biohazard technically because it is bodily fluids. And you need to have specific PPE for that in most states. Don't want OSHA getting on your shit. I'm done with tiptoeing around these issues to be sensitive. Men stole them. How do you know some other woman didn't steal them for her hungry little fat baby? Huh? How do you know that? Did you see them sipping out of the little tea with their going, man, when you walked by? No, that didn't happen. Well, maybe. I don't know. I didn't read the rest of this. If they wanted to keep that hush-hush, maybe they should circle back to me when I report these things and share with some transparency on how they, 1, plan to respond, and 2, how to mitigate these issues. Circle back. What are you, Jen Psaki? Fuck off. Instead of blanket statements like we took care of them, it is my job to protect employees. I'm not here to handhold to make people comfortable. Oh, yeah, make people uncomfortable by leaving your weird juices everywhere. I'm here to provide facts and testimony of my investigations. Ooh, investigations into who stole the booby juices. One of the few women in security. I'm quite frankly tired of seeing HR not follow through on things they said should be followed up on. HR follows up on what they want to follow up on. Later that same day, Alliance claims were backed up by former Blizzard producer Stephanie Krutzik, who wrote on her personal Twitter, "I can corroborate this, and I'm likely the origin of this statement, though I don't remember telling this specific person. I was one of the first, if not the first woman to use the new quiet rooms," she continued. "We can have rooms where women have to go be quiet." Oh, dude, I put my desk in there. At that time, they consisted of a chair, side table, and light. What more do you need? You're there to pump your boob juices out. That's it. That's all you're supposed to do in there. You go in there, pump, do whatever you do with your fluids, and then you go back to work, right? I don't know. Do they need downtime to cry or something in between? Like, did they need a box of tissues? This was in 2008. There was no fridge in the room, so I had to label and carry my breast milk out and store it in the break room fridge. This is very clearly breast milk in baggies with the baby's face on it. That doesn't mean anything. It's just because milk in a Ziploc baggie, it's like being in Indonesia. You should buy that shit on the street. Just like soda comes in Ziploc bags. It was clearly mine, she pointed out, and that as I was the only lactating woman in the building. A lactating woman? How do you know there wasn't a lactating man, you bigot? One day I went to retrieve my pump supply at the end of the day, and it was gone. There were no other mothers in the building and very few women at all in either QA or CS at the time. All the other items I had seen earlier were still in the fridge. They were dated and labeled. Somebody probably was like, "Why is this milk in a bag and who drew a baby on it? This is trash." She then reasoned someone had either taken my bags and tossed them, yep, or stolen them for some creepy reason. Yeah, to jerk off in. They were devastating, not just from the creep factor, but because I was already very low on supply and had a baby who wouldn't latch. They make formula. I was already supplementing and struggling to get milk. I didn't need to know that about your boobs, but thanks for sharing, lady, your 12-year-old boob problem stories. We never found out who did it. To their credit, my HR rep and my department's director swiftly provided a mini fridge because they didn't want to get sued, and other improvements to the room within 24 hours. But it should never have happened in the first place. Why weren't my needs handled immediately before I knew I needed them? What demented person steals an infant's food? Perverts that want to dunk their balls in your boob juice. Ultimately, after Ultimately, after detailing further personal maternity-related anecdotes of her time at Blizzard, yeah, she rambled on like any single mom. Krusik concluded, "I've related the stolen breast milk story to a lot of people. However, I would be unsurprised if it's become a story that's a regular part of the feminine marginalized people whisper campaigns, where we all warn each other about shit and specific people on the DL." Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't care about that. What do you make of the claim breast milk theft occurred at Activision? Would anyone be surprised if a bunch of nerds were around, and that's the closest they've ever gotten to a titty that wasn't one of their own jubblies, because they're all wearing XXX shirts, and they're like, "I'm going to rub my nutsack in this." AIDS milk. Yeah, somebody probably threw that shit out. It's disgusting. Thank you, Rodline. Was Blizzard being equal? Was there a special room for men who wanted to donate sperm? Did they have refrigeration for it and at least some tissues? Nope. But they do have to kind of give accommodations. So they do these quiet rooms where they can go meditate and do rock gardens or whatever dumb shit women do. But they're just supposed to go in there and pump out their boob juice or feed their baby. And they usually have a mini fridge so they can store it or whatever. Blizzard needs more kangaroos. To what? Put the boob juice in their pouches? That's weird. Although that may have been what happened. Maybe some random marsupial hopped through the room and stole her breast milk. I don't know. But it's a weird story and I wanted to share because I laughed really hard at that one. Hey, Captain Tripper. Ball sacks and boob juice. Yeah. That's going to be the name of my role-playing game. Ball sacks and boob juice. It's also the name of my thrash metal band. That's all the further I've gotten in the planning process, just naming stuff. All right. So remember last week we talked about the rumor that IDW might be losing the G.I. Joe Dingo Eater milk. So somebody had a cat. I wonder if any cats were in the office. So we had the rumor last week or so, 10 days ago, whatever it was, that IDW might be losing the Hasbro licenses. And Hasbro bundles all their licenses as one unit. So they've got like Transformers, G.I. Joe, and whatever other toy lines they have. They'll bundle all those rights together. Well, it turns out there may be some credibility to that. And it looks like that Robert Kirkman may actually be in talks with them, if this is true. Back then on Indiegogo, right? So CBR is reporting Walking Dead creator negotiating for G.I. Joe Transformers publishing rights. If this goes through, IDW is probably done. They still have some other rights, but Nickelodeon might pull Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles then. But they would still have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Sonic, and a couple other things. And I think that might be why they're looking to get creator-owned properties. So if you're looking to push your comic book, might be a good chance to pitch to IDW right now. Skybound Entertainment, the company run by Invincible creator and The Walking Dead co-creator Robert Kirkman, is looking to secure the rights to publish G.I. Joe and Transformers comics. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Skybound is currently in negotiations with Hasbro to acquire the publishing rights to G.I. Joe and Transformers, which currently reside with IDW Publishing. The Hollywood Reporter describes the deal between Skybound and Hasbro as a potential big loss for IDW. It'd be crippling for them. Reportedly, Kirkman, a fan of both properties, has personally got involved in chasing the rights. He's got enough clout because of the Walking Dead TV show. And Skybound also does movies now. So, yeah, this actually might look tempting to them. Though it's not expected to actually write any of the prospective comics himself. Good. Furthermore, should a deal be reached, Skybound published G.I. Joe and Transformers comics would not hit the shops until 2023 at the earliest. IDW acquired the rights to Transformers in 2005 after securing the license to G.I. Joe in 2008. What? That sentence makes no sense. Oh, they secured G.I. Joe afterward. Yeah. Prior to this, they had been at Dreamwave, and G.I. Joe had been over at Devil's Due. And, of course, G.I. Joe and Transformers were both at Marvel a long time ago. But that was before they started requiring everybody to bundle the rights together because they got sick of dealing with idiots, basically. So it looks like there's some credence to those rumors after all, and that's a bad sign for IDW. And the fact that Robert Kirkman is not going to write them is a big bonus because he tends to take forever to tell one story. It's a problem Skybound has, actually, because whenever they start doing a book, every story arc is at least 6 issues. And they have all this dragging time where nothing really seems to happen. And they just kind of babble on and stagger things out. It's really boring. So they need to kind of get their shit together and speed things up a little bit. Take less time to get places. All right, let's talk about one of the title issues here. No, hang on. It's that time again. It's time to remind you, we are brought to you by you over here. And by we, I mean me, because this is a one-man show. But if you'd like to support the channel, please hit the like button, share it on your social media, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you're feeling saucy, toss me a couple bucks on the Streamlabs or support me on Patreon. The links are in the description, and the Streamlabs link is pinned at the top of your chat, and I just dropped it in as well. Yeah, it's shilling time. That's right, Monkey. Donate to Jack. That's right, because I'm poor and I need money. Well, let's talk about TSR. Now, some news came out today, but it's not exactly how it's being presented. The royal we? Exactly. The royal me. Well, me and Lord Fliffington. He's the royal we. He's asleep around here somewhere. I don't know where he went, but he's probably peeing on something. He's kind of mad at me. So this is on Geek Native. TSR drops case against Wizards of the Coast, but keeps Indiegogo campaign running. Legal documents appear to show TSR has dismissed their legal action against Wizards of the Coast. However, at the time of writing, the flexible goal Indiegogo to support the action is still running, still collecting money from supporters and is approaching $2,000 line. It's actually crossed $2,000. The link to the Indiegogo is in the description. TSR may still, of course, have legal fees to pay as a result of their actions. There have been no updates on the Indiegogo page that share the publisher's intention to drop the case or what might happen to the money of the 58 backers. The campaign was launched on Twitter, over Twitter on the 8th of December. The basis for the action and current owners of the trademark did not like the fact that some old TSR books, which Wizards Coast owns, with the TSR logo also carry a disclaimer. That is only part of the lawsuit, and I'm really tired of people not reading the actual suit, or at least some in-depth knowledge of this, because this is a very superficial point within the greater thing that Wizards is claiming they own something that they don't. So that came out, and then I tried looking around, and the only other thing I could find was this from Tenkar's Tavern. And this is somewhat weird because this looks like it's part of an older document. It says this, they're going for dismissal without prejudice, but it's dated October 21st. And I think this is from a different thing that's been altered. I'm just sharing this for newsworthiness. I don't have any insider information on why it was dismissed. The dismissal was filed. Night without prejudice means TSR reserves the right to file again in the future. That's the entire thing. And they got this. Now, it did come out that they did file a dismissal, but they provided an update on their Indiegogo. Press release, TSR plans to refile the declaratory judgment of ownership in Washington State and also carry on with its actions to have Wizards of the Coast remove charge of its legal disclaimer. Whatever rumors you've been reading, disregard. Not one media source reporting on this dismissal except Clownfish TV asked TSR for clarification why the DJOO was withdrawn. Justin Lanassa, CEO. So they dismissed it in North Carolina so they could file it in Washington State. And if anybody had bothered to ask them, apparently they would have told them. But nobody bothered to. So they did update the Indiegogo to reflect that. It's on the updates, and people were discussing it. And they were saying some pretty awful shit. But they did reiterate that up here as well. And some of these people were being real dickbags about it. They'd donate like $1, and some people weren't donating anything. But if you have an Indiegogo and log in, you can comment. So if you still want to support TSR, their lawsuit is not going away. It is, in fact, just being refiled in a different district. And it doesn't look like they got any more money. So they're just staggering along. I'm going to drop this link in chat. I think this is a legit lawsuit. So, yeah. So they're changing the state where it's happening. Exactly. And you have to dismiss it in one state and refile in another. It's a giant pain in the ass. They just switched venues is all. And they probably did that because Wizards is based in Washington State. So that's all that's going on. A lot of people are saying that don't look into this. They're just giving up. Blah, blah, blah. They're not. It looks like they're just changing venues. So, yeah, people were overreacting to this quite a bit and trying to make it look like this was some kind of scam. I don't think it's a scam. I think they have good standing for these lawsuits. We went over it in the previous stream, so I definitely recommend watching that, where we actually went through and read the paperwork. So, like I said, I think TSR's got a good shot here, and I hope they succeed. So, yeah, that's what's going on with that. It's not a huge update, but it is one that has been circulating with a lot of misinformation that they're just giving up, and that's not the case. It's just a change of venue. So don't give up on TSR yet. And they really need to see this one through, too, if they want to get anywhere. All right. Let's talk about an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is from Bleeding Fool. Cobie Smulders is reprising her S.H.I.E.L.D. role as Agent Mariah Hill in Secret Invasion on Disney+. Cobie Smulders is set to reunite with Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury on Marvel's Secret Invasion. Well, if you want to team up with Nick Fury, you got to get the Hoff. Reprising her role as Mariah Hill, Deadline reports the series premiere on Disney Plus and also stars Ben Mendelsohn reprising his role as Skrull Talos, Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke, Kingsley Ben-Adir, Christopher McDonald, and Killian Scott. Emilia Clarke's hot. The crossover comic event series showcases a fraction of shapeshifting Skrulls who've been infiltrating Earth for years. Details about the role are being kept under wraps, but it's reportedly a newly created character that could cross over to the larger MCU, including appearing blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Smulders has reprised the character created in Marvel Comics by Brian Mike Bendis. Nobody gives a shit. So she's coming back as Mariah Hill. No word if they're going to kill her off or not, but yeah, she's been in a couple of the MCU movies if you haven't been following that for some reason. In case you're a Skrull. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to do this like the comics where there's like a lot of people are actually Skrulls or if it's just one Skrull. I don't know why Talos was a good guy in Captain Marvel other than they wanted some weird immigration story. Yeah, Cobie Smulders is pretty hot. She's getting old, though. Her eggs are powdering as we speak. Rodline, don't give them ideas. Seriously, dude. This is where the orcs breastfeed. How dare you steal their breast milk? I'm going to write that down. Stealing orc breast milk. That's going to be a mission quest someday. Make that a point. If I have to write an entire module around it, I will. Yep, now noted. Thank you, Rodline. The Skrulls still put poor misunderstood refugees? I think so. I think that's the angle they're going with. Oh, thank you, Totally Not Monkey, who donated. Monkey is a beautiful man with fabulous gay hair and an ass you'd die for. His penis is also amazing. Totally Not Monkey, I suspect you may be named Susan. She's only nearly double my age. Hey, a little older lady. She's experienced, you know. I have a feeling Neo's going to die in Trinity or some other chick will be the new hero. Probably. That would not surprise me. It'll be the Kree taking it. Wario Earth is great. Yeah, I thought you'd like that guy, Monkey. He seems to have a lot of interesting similarities to your way of speaking. All right, so let's talk about Worldcon. All right, these are the clowns that got sued by John Della Rose. Worldcon 76 chair Mike Roche admits to spending over $100,000 in combating John Della Rose's defamation lawsuit. Doesn't learn anything. Admitted that the organization burned through thousands of dollars in combating Deus Vault creator John Della Rose's defamation suit. If you recall, Della Rose sued San Francisco Science Fiction Conventions, Inc., aka Worldcon 76, back in April 2018 for violating Civil Code Section 51 of the Unruh Civil Rights Act. Unruh Civil Rights Act. That sounds like something the Norse came up with. Violation of, whatever, bunch of numbers. The novelist and comic creator explained his lawsuit on YouTube. If you guys aren't aware of the situation, I've been targeted and harassed by SJWs in science fiction Since I came on the scene in 2016, they found out who I voted for on my Facebook wall and just started getting threats. Did you call him fake Spider-Man, Monkey? People hate that. I called him Diversity Spider-Man one time, and I got like a little bit of trouble for that one. You also got death threats, constant harassment. I just couldn't be left alone to make my work. Get off the internet then, dude. And this translated over to people I never would have thought doing this. I mean, big names like John Scalise, the head of SFWA at the time, Cat Rambo. I don't know who that is. They were all on this hate blog called File 770, just attacking me over and over again. Delarose further detailed, and then Worldcon, I announced I was going to be there, and I sent them an email saying, hey, I've gotten a lot of harassment from people. I've gotten death threats and things like that. Do you have any security, additional security measures, things like that? And they never responded to me. So I was really scared. I had months debating, do I go or not go to this or not, because I have little children. So I'm like, I can't risk going to something like this and having somebody try and stab me or something in this without some additional help or something, the author relayed. So I posted a blog saying, hey, I'm going to be wearing body cam in case somebody comes up to me and starts harassing me. The Worldcon banned me for it. They claimed I was intending on going and following people around with a camera or something. Nonsense. There are detailed records, again, of my fear about what was going to happen there, and for good reason. These people have said very nasty things to me. Delarose continued to detail Worldcon's actions, but they went a step further. When they went on their website, they said that by removing me, they didn't specify the reason why. They said it was going to remove racist bullying elements from our con. Oh, yeah, that's why they lost. And so they called me a racist on their website. And if you guys know, I'm a very proud Hispanic man. You're not Latinx? That's very offensive, especially when a bunch of white people are calling me this. It's a terrible thing. So they damaged my reputation in the industry. Let's get to the point. The parties would eventually settle out of court, with San Francisco Science Fiction Conventions, Inc. agreeing to pay Delarose a sum of $4,000, as well as posting a public apology on their website. The public apology from Mike Roche states, SFC acknowledges the importance of reputation, especially for a relatively new author, and regrets that its public statements about barring his attendance might have led people unfamiliar with Mr. Delarose and his work to infer that he was or is a racist. For that, SFSFC apologizes. Roche continued, this attendance ban was specific to the Worldcon 76 events produced by SFSFC, and Mr. Delarose has the same opportunity as other members of the public to register for future events. He then stated Worldcon 76 does not tolerate discrimination in any form, including through cosplay, based on or not limited to gender, race, ethnicity, the usual crap. So, as a cosplayer, am I allowed to put on paint to look like one of the Twilight chicks? Probably not, because that'd be green face, wouldn't it? Oh, dear Lord. They believe in healthy discourse and a bunch of other stuff their lawyer told them to say. Now Roche claims Worldcon spent over $100,000 defending the lawsuit. Roche told File 770, counsel has recommended we not go into deep money talk about the case, but I can say we spent well over $100K. He told them court costs are not normally recoverable in such a case. Yeah, because you would have lost. The amount for which we settled was less than half the cost of 1 day at trial. Note, by cost of 1 day at trial, I'm referring to their costs, not JDA's. I don't know what his lawyer rates were. If he's smart, he found a pro bono one. Despite spending over $100,000 defending the lawsuit, Roche has made it quite clear that he didn't really learn anything from it by telling File 770. As everyone has noted, the big lesson, if you're banning someone for COC violations, it must state so public, resist the urge to detail the violations. As to what Delarose's expenses were, his attorney Peter Bradley revealed, I did not charge Mr. Delarose anything for my services. There you go. There was a contingency fee retainer agreement, but I took the case with no expectations of being paid on this case, since it was not likely the defendant had any assets other than its trademark. When we ascertained the defendant had not acquired insurance with the usual coverage for defamation, oh, that's a mistake. These exceptions were confirmed. What fucking idiots! They didn't have insurance, so they blew through $100K. So guess what? Ticket prices are going up next year, I bet. I thought that was interesting because I followed that case a little bit because it seemed interesting. Travis Scott sentencing. Do not try to punch Umura, or he will eat your planet for that. Yeah, you don't fuck with Galactus. All right, so that's what's going on with Della Rose. Let's look at this one. Oh, back over at Comic Book Resources. Marvel's free comic book day title teases a massive Avengers X-Men crossover event in 2022. Oh boy, what, the Avengers are going to invade the Ethno state? I don't have any interest in this at all. I think it's a waste of time. They've destroyed the X-Men by making them effectively racist. Really a pastiche for like white nationalists. For the 2022 edition of Free Comic Book Day, Marvel is planting the seeds for a major event involving the Avengers and the X-Men. According to Marvel, Free Comic Book Day Avengers X-Men #1 by Kieran Gillian, Jerry Dugan, Dustin Weaver, and more will lay the groundwork for an event that will erupt across the Marvel Universe in 2022, drastically altering the relationship between Earth's mightiest heroes and mutant kind. Maybe because the mutants have been total blackmailing dickbags for years now. Other titles include Al Ewing. Oh, their Free Comic Book Day Spider-Man Venom. Again, they did that last year. And Free Comic Book Day Marvel Voices. See, they have to give the ethnic ones away. That's fucking lazy. So there's the big teaser. Oh, look at that. Woo, boy, that really gets you to want to go to those, doesn't it? Wow. Really winning me over with that logo. While the Avengers and X-Men have co-headlined numerous events in the past, one of the most notable examples is the aptly named Avengers vs. X-Men, written by Brian Michael Bendis, where they really brought this whole thing of the X-Men being effectively a bunch of crybabies that think they're superior to everyone to the forefront. And that seems to be what they're kind of playing off of. Wasn't a critical success. No, it was stupid. Avengers X-Men was a sales boon for Marvel and helped lay the groundwork for Marvel now. Yeah, so they're planning on doing another big crossover because that's all Marvel knows how to do is events. And it's going to be crap because the creative team on here is Kieran Gillian, who's an okay writer when he has a decent editor, and Jerry Dugan, who could be a good writer but seems to trip over his own ego too often. So we got two uncontrolled writers who could be good if they had more editorial oversight, but left to their own devices, create a bunch of hack material. And it's not going to be any different now. The X-Men aren't heroes anymore. They haven't been fighting for understanding. They've been fighting for superiority. They own space now. They also claim to own Mars. They blackmail humanity into doing what they want. They're bullies. And I don't have any respect for them. And they're going to do a big crossover with the Avengers. I don't fucking care. The Avengers is only 20 pages a book for $4. You go fuck yourselves, Marvel. It's going to be stupid. Tired of this crap already. I gave the X-Men a try at their latest runs, but it's just so terrible. Yep. The X-Men will wipe out the Avengers? I don't know. Maybe. But the Avengers has a pretty long cast list of literal gods. So, and they have the Hulk, who's basically unkillable now. So I don't know. It depends how dirty they're willing to play. You don't like the X-Men becoming bad guys? No, I thought it was lazy. A team that for 60 years has been trying to find cooperation and understanding suddenly become villains. And they form a little ethno state where no one's allowed to go. And then they go around and abscond with people's children, rip families apart quite literally, sell drugs, both legally and illegally, literally brainwash members of the United Nations to accept their little island nation. And they demand a diplomatic immunity. And if you kill a mutant, they will invade your country. That's extortionist. I don't trust those people. It would be BG, but this has become a power fantasy for the goofy commies that run Marvel now. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to change that at all. They've been doubling down on everything bad. And there's no consequence. I mean, they say that they're not supposed to kill humans, but there's no consequence for it. Wolverine killed a kid in X-Men versus Fantastic Four on a Latvian island. They were in these mutants were in doom suits, and he killed one, and there was no consequence. Sabretooth killed somebody, and they threw him in a pit. He got out. That chick with those stupid moose antlers killed somebody, and she got released and is running around now as an eco-terrorist. So yeah, there's no consequences over there. But they threaten to destroy any humans that get in their way. Yeah, Raymond, you're not wrong, but it was still they were heroic because while they were hated, they were still trying to be good guys and protect people that didn't like them, and that was admirable. Forget the writers still believe the X-Men are good guys because they're too close to their own stuff. Yeah, pretty much, Cannibal. But they don't see it that way because they can't see what they're doing from an outsider's perspective. And a lot of people I know like what they're doing with the X-Men, and I'm thinking that's disgusting because they're effectively an ethno state. You can't even get to Krakoa if you're not a mutant. They won't let you in. And if you're found on their island, they will kill you. They killed several people. You made the heroes and the villains. Rewrite it, stupid. No one said that at all, Kyler. Nope. Yeah, Nature Girl. She killed that shop clerk for no reason. Hey, Evil Ferret. How you doing, man? All right, next article from comicbook.com. Venture Brothers star confirms new movie is series finale. Now, I love the Venture Brothers, and this makes me sad, but at least we're getting a movie out of it. One of the stars behind the Venture Brothers has confirmed the upcoming new movie will serve as a series finale for the animated series overall. The Venture Brothers was one of the longest running animation projects on Adult Swim, but although the series was running with the programming block for nearly 17 years, its unsteady release schedule only resulted in 7 seasons thus far. Fans have been anxiously awaiting to see what was next, but Adult Swim shocked fans everywhere when it was announced the Venture Brothers would be canceled long before season 8 ever would see the light of day. It was far from the end, however, as Adult Swim announced a series of new movies based on their animated projects, and the Venture Brothers was one of those, coming back for a new movie. Yeah, it was just to kind of give you a middle finger and say, fuck you, we're ending it. It's being touted as a feature-length special, and James Urbanic, the voice of Dr. Rusty Venture in the animated series, took to Twitter to update fans on part of his final recording process for the franchise and confirmed this new special will act as the official series finale. More proof that Adult Swim is dead. Blah, 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 blah. Recording sessions. It's also closure that fans almost didn't get to have should Adult Swim have followed through completely with their previous cancellation of the franchise. There's no release window date for the special project yet, but it seems production is moving along. When this new special does debut, it will first launch on Blu-ray, DVD, and TVOD for 90 days before coming to Adult Swim and HBO Max. Adult Swim currently describes New Ventures project as such. Doc's latest invention will either bankrupt the Ventures or launch them into new heights as Hank searches for himself, Dean searches for Hank, the Monarch searches for answers, and a mysterious woman from their pasts threatens to bring the entire world crashing down on them. The Venture Brothers is created and executive produced by Jackson Public and Doc Hammer. I will watch that, of course, because I'm a huge fan. Yeah, I know, Ori. It's almost like they call themselves Homo sapiens superior and have their own special little place where no one can go, and they threaten to conquer the world if you do anything about it and wipe out humanity. Yeah, it's almost like that seems familiar. Like maybe they should have some camps somewhere. Oh, and the Jewish girl couldn't use the gates? Yeah. Yeah, Kitty Pryde couldn't use the little gates to go onto the ethno state. Weird, huh? So when will we get some Ric Flair news? I have no fucking idea. Let's see if they actually get it done. They probably will do this one because Venture Brothers has been pretty popular. I don't know why they canceled it, quite honestly. Just that the Adult Swim stuff has always been inconsistent and kind of fucked up. Do you know where I can stream the Venture Brothers? Probably HBO Max. Otherwise, I don't know. I can't tell you to go sail the high seas. Let's talk about Doctor Who and how it's continuing to fuck up. Doctor Who Flux ending a disappointment as ratings drop again. Sunday saw the final episode of Doctor Who Season 13, The Flux, which turned out to be a big disappointment. No surprise there, as ratings drop again. This episode, The Vanquishers, saw 3.5 million 8 people turning in, but it was a drop of almost 300,000 viewers compared to the previous episode. When 7-day viewings and such are factored in, each episode averages around 5 million, but when compared to the high to low, there's a difference of about 1.25 million views. So that basically means a lot of people stopped watching. Yeah, that was 6 episodes. And I heard really bad things about this. That's a pretty flamboyant outfit there, champ, for your weird Skeletor knockoff mask. As I've been writing in my articles, I've actually enjoyed this season of Doctor Who. Of course you did, you fucking idiot. As each episode has been jam-packed with content and has been fast-paced, but the final episode comes up short big time. Maybe spoilers here, I don't remember. Chibnall gave us all this big build-up, particularly with the new villains who we don't know anything about, but then it fizzles at the end and makes absolutely zero sense. That sounds like all of this Doctor's run. The villains finally have the Doctor where they want her, but then the larger villain stands revealed who looks like one of the main villains for some reason, and then the larger villain kills the main villains, turns into the likeness of the Doctor, and lets the Doctor go. I can't help but laugh out loud, and my son asked me what was going on. I do get Chibnall setting up something down the road, at least I hope, and the couple of remaining specials that are left, but the final episode was simply highway robbery. When it comes down to it, I think Chibnall and Whittaker era of Doctor Who is going to be forgotten, if we're lucky. And I won't be surprised if it gets retconned to where it's not actually part of the main Doctor Who mythos, but a thing in its own pocket universe. I already laid out how they could fix this, and nobody listens to me. I don't know why nobody's paying attention to my theory, because it would actually fix Doctor Who. It has, yeah, you're not wrong, Ori. It has. Watch preview below. I don't want to watch the fucking preview. All right, so again, I'm going to reiterate my theory because in case anybody that ever worked at Doctor Who or has connections there can pass this along. Because Robert Davies is coming back to take it over, and he's getting pretty much absolute control. So what they did is they've made her into a proto-Time Lord. She's not actually a Time Lord. They just wiped her memory. And she's actually this strong, independent black woman from another dimension who can regenerate lots of times. And the Time Lords tortured her until they figured out how she's doing it. And then wiped her memory. And she became the first Doctor at that point. And it totally destroyed what they had set up for the character, his motivations, stuff like that. It's bad enough they erased Susan. But now they've done this to the character, and it's a complete retcon of the Doctor's origin. Now, I made the argument several times now that they could easily fix this by doing one simple thing. The regeneration sequence we saw that led to her was not the 12th Doctor's regeneration. It was, let's say, an accident or something, and split off part of his personality when he did regenerate, and he regenerated into another person, and she is an offshoot of that and becomes the Valeyard from Trial of a Time Lord. Because the Valeyard is the dark aspects of the Doctor and supposedly one of his future regenerations. Well, that could be explained as this is where that started. Because the Valeyard tried to destroy the Doctor in Trial of a Time Lord by setting him up. And he is a Time Lord as well. And maybe the Valeyard is convinced that he is this timeless child. And that's his origin, that he had somehow been infecting the Doctor and piggybacking inside of his brain or something, and just nesting there, absorbing regeneration energy until he had enough to spit himself out and become this Doctor. And for a little while thought she was actually the real Doctor, but she's not. She's the Valeyard, and she's this evil entity that was imprisoned by the Time Lords. And only because the Master told her this was her origin doesn't make it true. It might be partly true, and he's just trying to mess with the real Doctor by convincing this person that she's the Doctor, and she just stole his TARDIS and he's looking for it. Boom, I just fixed it. Yes, the Doctor had a mother. And yeah, Dr. Mary Sue. I liked Capaldi, but the scripts were garbage. I thought he would be great as the Doctor, but they gave him shit scripts. No. The Doctor wasn't doing ketamine. Yeah, the Master is always lying, but they've tried to make this canon now. They've doubled down on it several times, and this Flux story reiterates that. But if they change it to where she's not actually the Doctor, she's the Valeyard, it would make sense that she's this timeless child. And then they don't have to retcon anything. They could say that is this Doctor's origin, but she's not the real Doctor. She's the Valeyard. And then you've created a new enemy for the Doctor as well, one that was already in canon, and now you've just explained the origin story over the last couple of years and show how that character developed into having a hatred of the Doctor because part of her still thinks that he's stolen her lives, kind of. Remember when the show was less about the Doctor and more about time travel adventures? I remember when the show was fun. Oh, yeah, a long time ago, Peter. So, yeah, I think they really jumped the shark a long time ago during the Matt Smith era, and they've never tried to rein it in, and it's failed horribly. And the ratings have shown that. Time and time again, when we look at articles about Doctor Who, it's about how bad the ratings are. And they gave her a chance. People were watching. There were 12 million people watched her first episode. And now there's less than 5. Like I said, she's an okay actress. Just wasn't a good fit because the scripts are shit. There's a lot of rah-rah girl power and condescending toward men. All the men are incompetent boobs. Correct. They can't retcon that easily. No, but they could explain it the way I said. Have the Doctor show up to get his TARDIS back and explain that she's not him. And that's when she slowly realizes that she's just the darker elements of the Doctor, becomes the Valeyard, and you can set up new stories that way. It would be a great way to segue that in without having to retcon 3 or 4 years worth of storytelling. All that stuff still happened. It just happened from somebody that was delusional into thinking they were somebody they're not, and their evil characteristics slowly come out. Like maybe have her kill off all her companions in a outburst of anger and hate, and the real Doctor has to show up and stop her from killing more people or something. Because they don't really do a lot with the Time Lords anymore, which is really disappointing. They used to do a lot more with them. But we just don't get good old school adventures like The Chase or Revenge of the Cybermen or stuff like that. It's all foo-foo boring crap now. Yeah, well, we're not going to get the master back. It's going to be Missy all the time now. Oh, they'll never do it, JB. They'll never do it because the Valeyard has been forgotten effectively, but it would have been a good fix for this, and they won't do anything like that. But that's my Doctor Who rant because I'm an old Doctor Who fan, and it's tragic what they've done to the show. The 60th year is coming up, and they've just shit all over this franchise. Could have been beautiful. Used to be beautiful, man. What happened? But something that is still beautiful, apparently, is the Power Rangers. Because Hasbro's actually doing stuff with those. Yeah, you're not wrong, Assassin. Pyramids of Mars. Oh, that was classic. I loved the Fourth Doctor, man. The Fourth and Fifth Doctors, and I like some of the First Doctor stuff, especially the Daleks and the Chase. Those were classics. 10th Planet. That was good sci-fi stuff. Low budget, but awesome. Hasbro moving forward with Power Rangers Cinematic Universe at Netflix. If you're a Power Rangers fan, now is a really good time for you. Despite how much such attempts to emulate Marvel's cultural and financial success have burned and failed quite miserably, Hasbro and Netflix have announced they've partnered to try their luck at producing a Power Rangers cinematic universe. Netflix plans were revealed by Entertainment One president of Global Television, Michael Lombardo, whose employer was recently appointed to head Hasbro's global management during an interview with Deadline's Nelly Andriva, published on November 22nd. Asked by Andriva for a status update on Power Rangers, Lombardo replied, "Since we set up Power Rangers with Netflix's Power Rangers head Jonathan Entwise, we pitched really a whole world approach. It's not just one show. It's shows followed by films, some kids programming. We've found a great writing partner for him. They are, knock on wood, Netflix is excited. We're excited. We hope to have some news soon." Shortly after Deadline published the interview, Entwise took to his personal Twitter to confirm, "I guess cat's out of the bag. The new Power Rangers universe is coming to Netflix." I don't know why there's a Monopoly board, but oh yeah, because that's about Hasbro. This soft announcement of Netflix's Power Rangers universe comes just a few weeks after streaming giant secured the exclusive streaming rights for the upcoming second and 29th overall season of Power Rangers Dino Fury, which is set to premiere in spring 2022. The idea of an interconnected universe of transforming heroes is far from unheard of, as Power Rangers and its Japanese source material, Super Sentai, have enjoyed to some extent shared universe across all respective television and film appearances of each franchise, with the latter even sharing theirs with Kamen Rider. However, this was and continues to be accomplished through the telling of loosely connected individual stories which happen to take place in similar universes, in stark contrast to Netflix's aim of producing each respective entry in the series exclusively in service of a unified conclusion. So, Power Ranger fans, rejoice. You're going to get a whole bunch more content soon. And that's a lot of Red Ranger in right there. I'm going to just leave the menstrual jokes on the table for all to make up as they go. Power Rangers makes them go. Yeah. I hear they go, those Power Rangers. So if you want to read more or do your own investigation, there's the article. As far as I'm concerned, Doctor Who was canceled a few years ago. Yep. Netflix will fuck it up, the anime live action stuff. Yeah, probably. But it's a thing that's happening, and that means I got to make you aware of it. The Forever Red episodes. I don't know what that is. I'm too old for Power Rangers. My nephew was real into it. All I know of Power Rangers comes from babysitting. Anyone know what's going on with the Mark Cross Robotech live action project? If it's at Netflix, it's going to be woke and dumb. How's that? And we're at that time again where I have to shill. If you'd like to support the show, drop some monies on the Streamlabs. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. How many likes we got? Oh, good. Looking good. All right, let's talk some role-playing other than the D&D controversy, as the Brits would say. From Dicebreaker, Avatar Legends RPG physical release date delayed to summer 2022. This was a Kickstarter, and it did really well, but now it's been delayed. Avatar Legends has seen its physical release date delayed to next summer as a result of ongoing material shortages and the game's record Kickstarter success. Magpie Games' tabletop RPG adaptation of animated series Avatar The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. Nobody cares about Legend of Korra. Was crowdfunded earlier this year, raising over $9.5 million to become the highest funded tabletop RPG to date on Kickstarter in its first week. In a December 8th update to the game's Kickstarter campaign page, Magpie announced the expected release date of the physical book had to be pushed back from February to next summer. So it's really only a few months, not a huge deal. It's kind of to be expected at this point, sadly. The publisher cited the ongoing shortage of cardboard and paper affecting production across the tabletop industry, as well as the sheer number of books required to fulfill the project's more than 81,000 backers. It turns out that printing over 200,000 books plus hundreds of thousands of journals, cards, and dice will take longer than the usual due to cardboard and paper shortages. But even with those shortages, it's very, very high volume of books. Even if our printer manufactured tens of thousands of books or more a week, it would still take months to print all those books. Well, you better get on it, bitch. Magpie confirmed the original digital release of the PDF remains on track for early 2022. It's only the game's physical tomes that will take longer to arrive. It's based on the cartoon. The upcoming RPG utilizes the popular Powered by the Apocalypse game system, with players rolling 2 6-sided dice to determine outcome test. Okay, we all know how role-playing works. If you don't, go play D&D. Second ed, not the new one. Plan to release a source book, city setting in August, followed by a dedicated The Spirit World in February 2023. Neither source book was offered as part of the game Kickstarter campaign. Whether those will be delayed remains unclear. So it's going to be delayed, but I think that is due to the shortages. They're probably having it printed in China, and that's a big part of it. So there's the link. There's a link in here to check it out on Kickstarter. I think you could still order a copy. Hey, Deckfish. Do I remember Zoids? Yeah, I remember Zoids. And Stariars and Jason the Wheeled Warriors and lots of other obscure dumb shit from my childhood. Yeah, there was some awesome stuff back in the day. 80s had some great shows. I think I misspelled the setting I was talking about, the North American Sword and Sorcery setting. Oh, yeah, the coyotes and stupid shit. Yeah. That was the Totem of the Dead. Oops. Yeah, I found Totem of the Dead. Yeah, I figured you just misspelled it. So Avatar is getting delayed. But it looked like a really cool setting. I don't really care about Legend of Korra, but the RPG did look really good. So if they need a couple extra months because of paper shortages, that's fine. All right, let's talk about the annoying shit of the Tom Taylor's causing everybody. So everybody's freaking out because of the news. This is from Pink News. Wonder Woman is queer and has a girlfriend in game-changing new DC Comics series. First of all, it's an alternate universe and it's a miniseries. Don't get your knickers wet, kids. Wonder Woman shares a beautiful kiss with her girlfriend, Superman's sister, in new comic series Dark Knights of Steel. DC Comics Limited series is set in a fantastical universe that vaguely resembles medieval times. Dark Knights of Steel #2 begins with Lois Lane arriving by ship on Themyscira, the island home of the Amazons, to deliver bad news to Wonder Woman and Princess Zola of the House of El, the daughter of Jor-El and sister of Kal-El, aka Superman. She encounters Wonder Woman and Zola in the middle of a fierce training session on the battlefield. Sadly, she reveals to Zola that her father has been murdered, and the princess immediately is consumed by grief. Wonder Woman comforts Zola, saying she will always be there to help her in any way she can. Then Wonder Woman pulls Zola in for a close embrace, and the pair share a heartbreaking yet beautiful kiss before Zola flies off. Oh, mandatory lesbians! Yawn. I'm so tired of this. It's so lazy. Tom Taylor's a one-trick pony. He can only do shock stuff like this. Look, gays! Boring. The shock has worn off. We're all bored with this. Unfortunately, the relationship isn't explored any further in the issue, but Games Radar hinted that Zola's relationship with Wonder Woman and her brother may be explored later in the series. And her brother? Ew! However, the outlet said that it may not be the idyllic romance as Zola murders Black Lightning's son by dropping him out of the sky in retaliation for her father's death. Comics written by Tom Taylor, Yasmin Purdy, Arif Prianto, and Wes Abbott. Tom Taylor's fucking garbage writer. I'm sorry. Australia, you unleashed this mess on us. He looks like a douchebag lead singer of a crappy band like Nickelback or something. But that's your fault. He's one of yours. And he cannot get over Trump derangement syndrome, even though he's Australian. Wonder Woman has been predominantly romantically linked to Steve Trevor, a pilot who blah, blah, blah. Greg Rucka made her gay because she's an Amazonian, so obviously all Amazons must be lesbians. And they've been pushing that a lot lately. I just picked up Wonder Woman Historia, and apparently they're rewriting a lot of Amazonian history to make it more gay. And I got my copy for real cheap because it's an $8 book, and I got it for $1. Damaged books are awesome. Thanks. But this is kind of the thing with DC. Even though this is an alternate universe, they can now say Wonder Woman was gay once. And she had kind of a pseudo relationship with a chick once before. It was never explicit. It was just what they call queer coded. Wonder Woman's new queer romance comes as DC Comics has made a concerted effort to expand its pantheon of LGBT plus heroes. No, they're just taking pre-existing heroes and magically making them gay, because making new characters is hard, and they don't get the fan base to come look at the book because there's a mantle already in existence, like turning Tim Drake gay and Superman's son. You're getting the Superman name, therefore the legacy of Superman and the headlines, and it draws people in not to actually buy the book, but to give them little internet PP touches, because these books do not sell. They get a slight bump because of speculators thinking those books are going to be worth hundreds of dollars down the line, and they never are. Just go find North Stars coming out. It's tanked way down in price. That one's still worth some money because that was the first one. But all these other books, they've watered it down to where everybody's gay now. That there are more gay superheroes than straight ones at this point, I think, because they just keep changing everybody gay. Yeah, there's Tim Drake, came out as bisexual and a second date, and scored a date in Batman Urban Legends #6. A few months later, John Kent came out as bisexual as well. So yeah, it's just lazy and boring, and it's bad storytelling. Because if you're relying on these surface traits to tell stories, you're not telling good stories. But wait, there's more. Because ICV2 is reporting that Tom Taylor signed exclusively with DC. So we're going to get more of this. Tom Taylor signed an exclusive contract with DC, announced on Twitter Wednesday. I'm excited to announce that I've signed an exclusive contract with DC. Wow, it's like we heard that 3 times in 2 sentences. And I can't wait to share everything we have planned for the future. Oh, more gay characters. The announcement came in an era when exclusive announcements by either the big 2 companies have been rare. It's because he's a hack and probably works cheap. As creators keep their options open for creator-owned works where they're making more money and work for other publishers. Taylor's beginning Neverlanders, a graphic novel series for Penguin young readers, probably full of the gays. Next year, that story is presumably excluded from this deal. Taylor's most recent big hit for DC has been Son of Kal-El, in which announcement was Jonathan Kent was bisexual through unprecedented orders. And by unprecedented, they mean just barely below what the first issue was. We went over that. So he's going to work exclusively to convert more characters into being very, very gay and replacing their leads. Because right now they've replaced Superman with his son, who's bisexual. Tim Drake is coming back as Robin and coming out. Batman got replaced by a black dude who's probably gay. They had this Wonder Woman gay story, and they have the Latinx Wonder Woman, who I believe is gay, who's going to replace Wonder Woman. And let's see, Aquaman's gay. They replaced him with Aquaman. Not what you think. It's not Brokeback, but all the main Trinity are gone now. Batman's off doing something. Superman's off world, and they're going to kill him again, apparently. So, yeah, get ready to buckle in, DC, because your sales are going to drop. You'd think so, JB, but you can't have that because they'd never be able to lose. Men land on the aisle from time to time, and the Amazons have a... Yeah, Raymond, that's pretty much it. You, the reader, never knew that J.K. Rowling had declared you gay. That's a possibility, I suppose. I'm not reading that evil, but that is funny. At least you can make some of the villains gay. Super edgy counterculture idea. Diana Princess, also known as Wonder Woman, does the absolute unthinkable and chooses to have a baby with Steve Trevor. Oh, good luck with that ever happening. Yeah, a lot of people have been jumping shit from Marvel and DC, and they're doing better on their own because they've all got better deals. Substack offered a big pile of money to a lot of these guys, and a lot of them have found more success doing independent stuff because this nonsense is tiring. It's lazy. It's not good storytelling, and they don't seem to understand that. Wasn't Aquaman always gay? No. Aquaman used to be kind of cool because he did he was King Arthur under the water, but they made him kind of boring for a long time there, and now he's got this the current Aqualad who was introduced a little while back. They got rid of the old Aqualad, named him Tempest, and told him to go away, white boy, and they had to get an ethnic one who was like super gay. And he's going to be the new Aquaman because he's better than the original. Bad news, I've returned. Well, I'm glad to see you back. I've already been trying to appeal to the woke mob. Now the hater. Yeah, well, never try to appease these people. It doesn't work out for you. It's not worth the time. All right, we only got a couple more articles here. All right, let's talk about Law and Order. Now, I know some of you are Law and Order fans out there. You just don't want to admit it. Oh, absolutely, Assassin. They'll never be gay enough or whatever. The progressive stack is ever changing. The Hollywood Reporter reported Law and Order revival adds Carmen Manheim, who I think is one of the most overrated actresses. She joins Anthony Anderson, Jeffrey Donovan, and Hugh Dancy in the new series. She joined the series, which premieres February 24th, which NBC is referring to as its 21st season, which will come to almost 12 years after the original ended in 2010. The Emmy winner will play NYPD Lieutenant Kate Dixon, head of Homicide Detective Squad, that typically anchors the first half of the Law & Order episodes. Anthony Anderson will reprise his role as Detective Kevin Bernard from seasons 18 through 20 of the series, and Jeffrey Donovan will play the two lead detectives in the revival, which premieres February 24th. I like Jeffrey Donovan. He's a really good actor. Burn Notice was actually one of my least favorite of his roles, but it was a good popcorn show. You had to shut your brain off on how guns worked or tasers and all that, because it was completely unrealistic, but it was goofy fun. And I liked him in Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows. Hugh Dancy will play the assistant district attorney for that part of the show. Manheim will fill in the lieutenant's role that was played by S. Patha Murkison for most of the originals run. And don't forget the bald dude that used to be on before that, and he was also on Special Victims Unit, played Kragan. Murkison is now regular on Chicago Med, which is like the Law & Order franchise is produced by Dick Wolf. Dick Wolf loves to recycle actors. So many noticeable people like Claire Danes were on Law & Order, and you'd be like, hey, I know that person. This is the first time she's on Law & Order. She was on 3 episodes of the Mothership in the early 90s. I think she played a defense attorney. But yeah, she's going to be on the series. I think she's an overrated actress, but they wanted to get somebody, I guess, I don't know, bitchy fat chick. I'm sure she's fine. I just don't like her as an actress. I think she always comes off as a giant bitch. Stunning and Brave Fat Edition. Yeah, you had to bring it back. They're bringing Law & Order back, which I'm fine with, but it'll probably be, as long as it's not as bad as Special Victims Units become. Ugh. God, that show's awful. All right. This one Frosted sent me, so you can thank Frosted Glass for this. The Myth of American Exceptionalism in the MCU. And this is brought to us by Popoff. I've never heard of them, I don't think. Warning, spoilers for Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, Black Widow, and WandaVision. There's your warning. Because I don't give a fuck about any of those. I've seen 2 of them. I think I watched Shang-Chi and I got like 10 minutes in and fell asleep. So far, Marvel's Phase 3 has featured more diversity than the first 2 phases, both in terms of gender and race. The latest entry, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, was particularly good despite the fact that its source material was riddled with Orientalist stereotypes. Well, yeah, cry me a fucking river. However, the film bore many similarities to the cinematic entry before it. Black Widow? How? Well, let's see. Child trained by their parents to be a killer? Check. That same child abandoned a younger sister who resents them for it, and when the 2 finally reunite, they brawl? Check. Overall, themes about family? Check. This is a Disney movie, first of all. Also, they're from comic books. There's really only so many origins you have. Ridiculously enough, these could all generally apply to Guardians of the Galaxy films as well. Yeah, and lots of heroic epics as well. I'm sure Beowulf had some daddy issues that nobody cared about. In spite of the treading familiar ground, well, it is Disney, I'd argue that Shang-Chi's a better movie than Black Widow. One of the reasons for this is that Shang-Chi leaned into its hero's cultural background, which gave it more fresh and creative feeling. Sure, whatever. Black Widow, in contrast, strips Natasha of her Russian identity beyond fear-mongering stereotypes from the Cold War era. Well, they can't really say she was a Soviet now, can they? That would hurt the commies' feelings. The film opens with Natasha's family blah, 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 boring. There's nothing Russian about them by design, so they can escape detection and continue their work as spies. As soon as they return to Russia, trauma, blah, blah, blah. In WandaVision, okay, if you guys didn't watch the shows, go watch the shows and come back to this. It begs the question, why is Marvel unwilling to allow either Natasha or Wanda to explore their cultural identity? Because nobody cares about white people's backgrounds. Why do both of them largely read as white Americans? Pandering to the audience? I don't think they read as white Americans, per se, because Wanda clearly came from Sokovia, and they talk about her background quite extensively. And they even talk about, on WandaVision, about like the Sokovian fortune teller's outfit, a little cultural Easter egg there. And Natasha talks about how much it sucked growing up in the Red Room, which would be a good euphemism for all of Russia in the Soviet era. Even Wanda's vaguely Russian accent was dropped after it was introduced in Avengers Age of Ultron, where she wasn't entirely on the side of the good guys. Russian accents in American TV and film often indicate sinister character, harkening back to Boris and Natasha and Rocky and Bullwinkle and countless Bond villains. Yeah, because Russians were the bad guys then, because of the whole Soviet Union thing. You think that's bad? You should have watched Born American, you fucking pussies. But they made a joke about her not being able to maintain the accent. And it's because I think the actress had trouble maintaining the accent and it just came off kind of goofy. That's why they dropped it. As for Natasha dropping it, I don't really know why they did that. That's why they should have went with Mila Jovovich as Black Widow instead of overrated Scarlett Johansson, because Mila Jovovich actually could do the accent because she's from Europe, the Eastern Europe, so she'd be able to do a much better accent, and she's way hotter than Moonface Thighs McGee. Both WandaVision and Black Widow suggest that as long as one is white, one can assimilate seamlessly into American culture and abandon everything that came before. Yeah, we're pretty open people, but it's not because you're white; it's because you want to be American. Not only that, but you still you will want to abandon everything that came before because American culture is simply better. Oh well, at least there's some facts in here. Sadly, this assimilation and flattening of European and Slavic cultural heritage into the racial identity of whiteness has been all too real throughout American history. Maybe you should stop talking about skin tone then. White Americans are still all the poorer for it, and non-white peoples are pressured to abandon their own unique cultural identity because of it. No, it's called assimilation, idiot. We want you to be American. And that means you have to like cheeseburgers, explosions, slutty chicks, and you can worship whatever goofy little statue you brought with you. Nobody cares. So that's fucking dumb. And that's the myth of American exceptionalism in the MCU. They found a couple of random examples and ham-fistedly wedged them in so that he could say how awesome how this chick could say, well, whiteys are bad, but that Chinaman's good because we saw some of his culture. Even though that movie is hated overseas in Asia, they think it's pandering and shallow. What does that even mean? It means gibberish. Mila's too old. She's still better than this. Look at those thunder thighs. Ugh, gross. Why not assimilate? Because they hate this country. Are they not aware Natasha Romanoff is a spy and infiltrator agent? You would think they would know that, but they're dumb. But Mila can't act. Remember Resident Evil? Well, I don't think Scarlett Johansson's that good of an actress, so I'm willing to take the hotter chick from Fifth Element. Wakanda exceptionalism, hate fact. But now we're getting to the funniest article of the night. I saved the best for last. And that is Games Workshop. Scarlett's tasty. Oh. What about the X-Men? The X-Men that armored up? Colossus? Yeah, Colossus was cool. He had a Russian accent. He's badass. Games Workshop's stock price reportedly down more than 25% since mass DMCA striking fan content and promotion of Warhammer Plus subscription service. They went after the fans, and the fans gave them the big fucking middle finger. Screw Games Workshop. If you're going to buy Games Workshop stuff, buy it used. Games Workshop has become the latest majority entity to learn that abandoning its core fan base in favor of chasing profit and wide appeal never results in success in social media engagement would have them believe. The once beloved tabletop company has apparently seen a massive drop in stock price ever since it engaged in a mass DMCA campaign against Warhammer Fanworks in order to promote the mass consumption approved content featured on their official Warhammer Plus subscription service. According to a report by UK-based investment news outlet Investment Weekly via UK Today News, the ever-growing resentment of fans toward the company's tightening grip on its much-loved portfolio of characters and stories has resulted in Games Workshop's share price falling more than 25%. I think I woke up Lord Flippington. Bafflingly, though, admittedly unsurprisingly, fiscal experts have all but dismissed the fans' role in Games Workshop's rapid devaluation, with SVM UK Growth and UK Emerging Funds manager Margaret Lawson even asserting that she did not foresee any impact from a boycott, and that falling stock prices were the wrong reaction. There's often a tension between franchises and fans, which becomes more acute as the value of IP grows and a brand is extended online and in other partnerships, said Lawson, before complimenting the company's philosophy of out with the old, in with the new, in regards to their fans. Games Workshop is going through this stage of evolution, which inevitably means a need for stronger control on IP and disappointment for some. Bullshit, they've been assholes for a while. As noted by UK Today News, fellow analyst Abby Glean, the deputy head of smaller companies at Aberd Investment Company, agreed the move was a sensible one and that a loyal customer base with a passion for the hobby is unlikely to be disrupted by a boycott she believes is amplified by the media and in reality very limited in nature. That is incredibly short-sighted. 3D printer go burr. She's not a stick insect. Whatever. Way to promote engagement, right? Have a good one, Raymond. Yeah, Warhammer is basically just largely stolen from Starship Troopers anyway, and Alien. Well, A-Step has local gaming store earlier this week, and the dust layer on Warhammer 40k stuff was thick. Yeah, it's because they shit all over their fans, and their stuff's vastly overpriced. Gleany also noted that the excellent management team has pushed the business forward over recent years, particularly in relation to the very high margin and return business of licensing its IP across a range of formats, including video games, novels, and television shows, which will dry up if they piss off too many of their whales. A lot of this stuff is supported because the fans are buying it. If they piss them off, they're not going to buy it. And they watered this stuff down so much. Age of Sigmar was unplayable. However, not everyone who spoke to Investment Week underestimated the potential of a passionate and dedicated fan base. Ask the Star Wars fans how to work this. As senior investment and market analyst at Hargreaves Lansdowne, Susanna Streeter recognized that fan sites can be the lifeblood of a brand. Yeah, you're going after fan sites, you are asking for trouble. And my voice just cracked like a 13-year-old boy. Sorry, I'm getting the sinus thing going. Although it's understandable the company wants to protect IP from scammers replicating its miniatures using 3D printers, Game Workshop appears to have upset a die-hard fan base by cracking down on amateur animations as well, Streeter explained. We've seen before how tips and advice can spread like wildfire through social media, so the growing clamor on sites like Reddit for a boycott of the company risks being the tipping point of the iceberg of problems for Games Workshop. YouTuber Arch, who used to be Arch Warhammer, commented on the stock because Games Workshop seems to think they own the word Warhammer. Commented on the stock decline by declaring Arch was right again, inevitably, unavoidably, and now the world is slowly but surely to catch up to me. Well, serving it all, Arch. As Games Workshop is indeed in the early stages of monetizing its IP, and what does that mean? That means that GW is getting ready to get rid of you. They're trying to replace the fan base with the new mystical, glorious, and hitherto unknown wider audience, he continued. Now, they could get like TV audiences and stuff like that, but they're chasing the same phantom woke audience everybody else is. The YouTuber added the hordes of wokest normies right out there ready to consume Games Workshop products on hitherto unknown and unimaginable quantity. Yeah, zero. It's unquantifiable. He then questioned, how's this working out so far? Well, the company manager said 25% of its value, so I'd say it's going just goddamn swimmingly. Get woke and you will go broke, he asserted. And I think that's going to kick them in the pants. I think they keep going after fan sites and just YouTubers like they have been. They're going to lose more value because people go to watch their favorite YouTubers talk about the lore and do game demonstrations, stuff like that, unboxing videos, etc. They start trying to crack down on that. Well, you're less visible then as well. And people can't have fun with their hobby. You have to give a certain amount of latitude. Yeah, well, my voice is starting to go, so You appeal to the audience you have and let them bring other people in. Absolutely. You can bring in normies. Look at Walking Dead, right? A lot of people bought those comics after watching the show, but they didn't stick with it. They'll read them once, read like one trade paperback. Somebody will give it one as a gift, but there's not a lot of crossover. The tabletop game is not going to expand because they did a TV show. You might get some other merchandising opportunities, but if you lose that core base of your tabletop players, the other stuff doesn't have the money to go. Because remember, their stuff is very, very expensive for cheap plastic. So you get 5 plastic miniatures for $50. Those whales start drying up, your stock price starts going down. You don't get those investment dollars to make that TV show. And they've been around for a long time, so it's not like they haven't had opportunity to do this stuff before. Woke also tends to be broke. They don't buy, they pirate. They always do. Yeah, absolutely. They don't buy comic books, but they'll bitch about comic books. They don't go see movies, but they'll bitch about movies. The fan stuff is the lifeblood of 40K. It's been the lifeblood of it since the 80s. But we're going to go out on that note, I think. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today and watching the stream. I think Monkees live, so feel free to make your way over there. I'll drop you the link here in a second. I'll be joining in as soon as I can. But make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe when you go over there, of course. Let me drop a link to a recent project I did as well. I had a video come out today, and that was there. So I should have some more coming out soon. But in the meantime, thank you guys for the donations. Thanks for coming out. It's greatly appreciated, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.